The Alpha Sessions.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Alpha Sessions. Today, I'm really excited to be talking to Marnie Glum. How are you doing, Marnie? You okay?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
Good. Yeah, all good, thanks. Actually, first of all, I wanted to ask you: do you like to be called Marnie Glum, or like that's your recent stage name? Because can you tell us a story about your name?
Yeah, yeah. It's, to be honest, it's not a very interesting one. I released an EP a couple of years ago as Charlotte Lynch, which is my real name, my secret
Yeah.
identity. And then yeah, it was very folky. It was very singer songwriter. It definitely kind of fit the name at the time. Definitely fit the music that I wanted to make. But then as I kind of started exploring like new avenues and finding out where my strengths lay, I thought I'm bored of Charlotte Lynch. It's a boring name. I want to get rid of it. So I spent a lot, so I knew I had to change my name, and it took me ages to pick. But I think the inspiration came from a bunch of places. There's a movie that I watched called When Marnie Was There.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Would recommend. But yeah, I was just like, oh, I really like the name Marnie. And then Glum is kind of because I've been told a lot by people like, oh wow, you're definitely a sad song kind of girl.
Oh.
That's like, yeah, my specialty, I guess. I do write some happy songs, but I definitely lean towards like the sad, depressing side.
They're introspective, let's say. I mean, I really love
Yeah.
them, and we'll talk more about your songs in a minute. But yeah, they're more like introspective. I don't know whether I'd say like they're sad. I just think they're like, yeah, they're just like, for me, they're just really kind of like honest and just like how you sing with like a really kind of like, I don't know, it just comes across as really confident and really like self-affirming how you say things. It just, I don't know, there's something that I love about how you sing.
Oh, yay. Well, that's lovely to hear.
So I wouldn't necessarily say they're sad. I just think like you give us a lot to think about in your songs. That's how like I personally feel.
Yeah,
But
I think that's kind of my aim, I guess, because I think I don't want to tell someone how to feel. I just basically
yeah,
tell someone how I'm feeling, and they can agree with me or disagree.
yeah, fair enough. So tell us about your journey into music. How did it all start, and how did you decide to go into it professionally?
Um, well, I think like a lot of musicians, I've been kind of interested in music since I was very young. My mum's a musician. She's a
Right.
classical woodwind musician. She's very, very talented. But I was more. I think I started off learning the violin, and then actually it was really interesting. I was watching your session with Sancha last night,
Mm.
and she mentioned that she'd been like classical singing for a long time, and I was like,
Yeah.
same.
Snap. Yeah.
Because yeah, I started classical singing when I was about 9, I think. I started singing lessons. So yeah, I was very much a classical singer for a long time. And then
Mm.
I think eventually I just kind of realized that there was a disconnect between what I was singing and what I liked listening to.
Yeah, because it's not usual to like that classical stuff when you're young. I mean, some people do, and that's great, but it's like, yeah, it's not naturally like necessarily the first thing like you'd be listening to.
Yeah, exactly. Like I do really like classical music, but it's
Mm.
not something I listen to on the daily. And I was like, well, it's not really a passion of mine.
Yeah.
And I realized that I wanted to kind of start making music that was closer to the music that I listened to.
Mm.
So I got a guitar when I was 12, and then I just kind of taught myself for a while, had lessons for a bit. And then, yeah, and then I just kind of fell into songwriting. I think it was a really good like outlet for me at school.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, just to have, I don't know, just a notepad to just like jot your thoughts down, and yeah, they just kind of turned into songs.
Yeah, so you were songwriting at school, and then it just kind of, what were the things that you were writing about, and what are the themes in your songs now?
I think I like to cover like a variety of things. I do write love songs sometimes, but I
Mm-hmm.
get bored of them quite quickly because I
Yeah.
like there's other things going on that I want to write about. I think when I was at school, a lot of my songs were kind of I kind of liked covering topics that were relevant at the time that I was frustrated by. So things I read about in the news.
Mm.
Um, I wrote about like how it made me feel. I think one of my most popular songs on my EP that I released in 2019 was called Take Life Easy. And that was kind of about the climate crisis and me trying
Mm.
to not have an existential crisis over it
Yeah.
and failing. So yeah, I liked those topics, but also I do write a lot about mental health because that's
Mm.
something that I think is important to everyone,
Yeah.
and is like relevant to everyone. And yeah, that's just something that's, yeah, a passion of mine, I guess.
Yeah. And how does the writing process start for you? Do you kind of, will you start with like a melody on the guitar, or like what's your kind of inspiration to start writing?
Oh, that's a great question. It's actually changed a lot because I started studying songwriting at Leeds Conservatoire in,
Yeah.
when was it? September 2019. So I've just finished my second year. And since then, my process has changed so much, and I've like allowed it to change. I've kind of let
Yeah.
myself experiment with new ways. So my old way was just kind of coming up with something on the guitar and putting lyrics to it, like it was very minimal. But I think with Celebration Florida, I was making a conscious effort to kind of break out of guitar and voice only.
Mm.
Like I wanted to kind of explore more. So I'm trying to remember how I think Celebration Florida started with lyrics. I think most of the original lyrics I wrote down never actually made it into song, so terrible. So I tend to just do I write like loads and loads of lyrics, and then I don't know, it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like similar to writing an article or a book. Like you would write down a lot, or an essay, anything like that. You'd write down a lot, but only a portion of it would actually make it into the final thing. So that's kind of how I write songs. I kind of just have a bunch of lyrics down, and then I edit them,
Yeah.
and like mess around with the structure for ages. And that's kind of my favorite part, actually, like messing around with like the sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I came up with chords on the guitar, and I was like, oh, I think these would fit these lyrics. And then then I made a really rough demo of the song on Logic, sent it to my producer friends, and I was like, would you be interested in helping me with this? And they were amazing. And then I got some amazing instrumentalists on board.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So like Celebration Florida is your latest single, and it's such a different feel from like your EP. I was going to say, like, I really love it. And I wanted to ask you about what the song's about, who you kind of worked on with it. And yeah, what, like, just tell us a little bit about the song.
Yeah, so when I say what it's about, it sounds really pretentious. I'll try and make it not sound pretentious. But over lockdown, I read a book called No Logo by Naomi Klein, and like I was blown away by it. It was.
Do you know, it's been on like my reading list for, I don't know, ever since it was like published. I've never read it, but it was really big when it came out, wasn't it?
It really was, and like even though it's, I think, 20 years old, just over maybe. I think it came out in '99. It's still so relevant today.
Yeah.
Although some of the stuff is funny. It's funny reading it now, because some of the stuff that she talks about, like whenever she talks about the internet, everything is just like vastly out of date. It's like I have no idea how to interpret this, but yeah, it's about a lot of things. It's about kind of corporatism and like the effect that brands have on our lives, and it's a really, really great book. I think it brought a lot of things like to attention that no one had really noticed before. And yeah, she kind of mentioned this town, and I think she only talked about it for a page or two, about this town called Celebration.
Oh, it's a town. Okay, because I wanted to ask you. I was like, because there's sometimes Celebration, Florida, and I was like, oh, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a town in Florida. So basically, it was founded by Disney, like the Disney Corporation, and basically it was based on a dream, like an idea that Walt Disney had, that he wanted to build a town. And obviously I think at the time he wanted, like a 50s town, so it was the 50s. And then they actually built it in the 90s, but they tried to capture that like 50s nostalgia. But honestly, I think it was so interesting to me, like the idea of like actually living inside a brand where like every blade of grass, every tree was owned by something. And I thought that was a really like interesting thing. And then I kind of went on a bit of a Google rabbit hole, and I did some research and found out it turns out to be a really weird, surreal place. So I mean, just about as surreal as you can imagine. Like they've tried to emulate the 50s, but obviously it's not the 50s anymore. And I think they had in fact, I wrote some facts down that I just thought were really, really funny. Like basically they used things like fake snow in winter, because obviously they're in Florida, so it never snows. So they would get like shaving cream and like or what looked like shaving cream and put it everywhere. I think, what else did they do? They fitted trees with speakers to have like never ending bird song, because they were just so obsessed with capturing that like idealistic suburban feel.
It sounds freaky. That would like be
freaky as hell. Yeah, I think it sounds like a ghost town. And then there's also some like, I mean, this, I didn't really cover this in the song, but they have like a really dark history as well. There's been quite a lot of scary crimes that have happened there. So I don't know what's going on with that place, but I was completely pulled in. I realized as well, actually, after I'd like written it and recorded it, that I wasn't the first person to write about it. I think there's a Chumbawamba song. It's also
is there?
Federation, Florida, yeah, which is, it's a really good song actually. But yeah, it's just such an interesting concept. I was completely pulled in by it. So yeah, that's basically what the song's about.
My childhood was sponsored by a lifestyle brand. I felt it, I meant it when I said I breathed it in like oxygen in reverse. The more I breathe, the more suffocating it is. I ate an apple and I bought it too. Those golden arches seem too good to lose, and you don't need to hold me tight no more. Celebration Florida will keep me safe at night. Celebration Florida, my very own parasite. Skating on plastic ice, thinner than my own little slice of pie. The snow is shaving cream. I'm a well-oiled machine. Why can't I find peace of mind in it all going on? You don't need to hold me tight no more. Celebration Florida will keep me safe at night. Celebration watching over me like a satellite, while I'm just a deer caught in the headlights. Celebration Florida, my very own parasite. I cannot find peace of mind in the logo. I cannot find peace of mind in the logo. I cannot find peace of mind in the logo. I cannot find peace of mind.
The Alpha Sessions.
How long did it take you to write?
I think I tend to really, really labour over my songs. So it, especially like the lyric writing and editing, it's ages before I say a song is finished. But I think this maybe took me a couple of weeks to maybe make like a rough demo. I think actually writing, I maybe spent like a few hours just like getting the lyrics and chords down and stuff, and then kind of deciding what kind of sound I wanted to make and what kind of effect I wanted it to have on the listener. I was very like inspired by Matt Maltese and Mitski and people like that, so I was going for quite like a lo-fi feel in a lot of it. But yeah, I also wanted it to be live, so all the instruments that are recorded are live.
I was going to say, what was it like working with the other artists then? Are they friends or people that you've like met through the course?
Yeah, they're all uni friends, and they're all amazing. I feel so lucky to just be surrounded constantly by so many talented musicians, that I can just like, you know, grab, like, help me with this, please. But yeah, they were fantastic. So 2 producers, Jasmine and Yvonne, and they have their own separate artist projects as well. Safi Coy and The Sound of Modesty, amazing. They're absolutely amazing. So it was really great to work with them. And then instrumentalists, I think, I had Josh Aitken on lead guitar, Emily Yu on drums, Sabrina Chim on bass, and Reba Marek on synth, and they were all just incredibly talented. Most of them are in my live band as well. But basically, I think we recorded them all separately in different studio sessions at uni. And obviously because of COVID, things just took a lot longer than they would have been otherwise. Like it was quite difficult, kind of making sure everyone was staying safe and we were following the guidelines, and just kind of like jumping through so many COVID related hoops. But we did it. And it all worked out great. So that's
an
achievement. I'm really proud of the result, and I think everyone's done just an amazing job. So.
And did people did any of like the musicians that recorded it with you, did they have like feedback about how you might change something or like add something, or were you kind of like, this is how I want it to sound, and they just kind of were happy to do that?
Actually they had loads of input, because I didn't want it to be just mine, because basically it was my first kind of band single, because my EP was just vocals and guitar. So I kind of had no idea what I was doing. So basically what we did was I had a few like band practices with all the instrumentalists where we kind of played the song together and kind of got the feel for it, and like decided what we wanted to do. And they all, I mean, I think one of my there's so many parts of the song that I love that were not me, that were them, like the lead guitar line, that was Josh's, and that's one of my favorite parts, and Sabrina's bass riff as well. I'm just obsessed with. It's so groovy. But
that's great how it all came together then, like just like a joint effort. That's really cool.
I absolutely love collaborating. I do a lot of it, and it was just a really, really great thing to work with people on.
In fact, that kind of like leads me nicely into my next question, because as well as like doing your solo stuff, you also write for other people. So you've recently written on Josh Aitken's single Pipe Dream that's just come out.
It's literally just came out at midnight. But that was really fun. We just wrote it about basically we wrote it about how when you're like 20 and you already are encouraged to feel like it's too late for you, like, I don't know, especially in the music industry, I feel like a lot of people have been doing a certain thing since they were very young, as I kind of mentioned earlier. So I'm like, if I wasn't like a fluent like producer by the age of 12, then like I'm never gonna be, you know. And I think
it's like a lot of pressure. There's just like a lot of pressure, isn't there?
But then I think it's really important to take a step back and just kind of think about how ridiculous that is. And that's basically what the song is about. Like that's so stupid. We're so young, we've got so much time to master anything we want to master.
Exactly.
It's awful that we're kind of made to feel like we have to be good at everything from the start. So that's basically what that song was about. I had a lot of fun writing it. I'm really glad it's out, and the rest of the EP is really awesome as well.
And how does that feel, like writing for or with someone else and collaborating with someone else compared to like doing your own solo stuff?
I mean, for me it's a totally different experience. Like it's a very different like headset. I really like writing for other people, and it's definitely something I want to do. I'm just kind of dipping my toe in the water now, but it's definitely something that I want to do more of, because I really enjoy it. I mean, I think it's really, really important getting kind of the right feel during a co-writing session. So like making sure that you're both comfortable first. And normally in a session, I'll normally spend at least half an hour just chatting to them, especially if I don't know them very well. Just to kind of see what kind of a person they are, and see what kind of things are important to them. And what kind of things we might want to write about. And then normally we just kind of fall into the songwriting part, like you mentioned that this was happening and this and this, so like maybe we could write a song about this. And that's just kind of how it goes. yeah, I love collaborating. Yeah.
So where's like the line? I just find it like really interesting. Where do you find the line between like you say, finding out what the other person's going through and like what you might want to write about, but then how much of your own experience do you bring to that, or do you kind of put yourself in like totally someone else's shoes?
Oh, that's such a good question. I have to think. I have to think about that one. I think I do bring a lot of my own experiences to the table, I guess. But I think it's quite, especially when you're writing for another person, I think it's important to know when to like kind of leave your own artist identity behind. In fact, yeah, I think I watched an interview where someone said that recently. I can't remember what it was, but someone said like it's important to leave your kind of artist project out the door and kind of just bring your like songwriter self into the room, because like I'm careful not to kind of, for example, if I'm writing for someone who maybe has a very different music taste, I'm like quite careful to like adhere to their like what kind of music they like. So before a session I might listen to their music on the way, or listen to a bunch of music that they like on the way, so that I know kind of what they would want. I think like making a collaborative playlist as well is really fun. Like as part of a uni project, I just wrote a couple of songs with my friend Tanisha that hopefully we're going to release. But you didn't hear that from me. Yeah, it was so fun, and we started off just making like a playlist of songs that we thought we could write together, because we both kind of had an understanding of what the other's sound was like, and it was there was like a lot of overlap. So we kind of made a playlist that was I'm trying to remember what kind of stuff was on it. There was kind of Phoebe Bridgers, The Staves, Maggie Rogers, kind of people like that, because we were like, that's where our overlap is. And the songs, I'm so happy with the songs that came out of that, so hopefully the public will get to hear them.
Exciting. And then you've collaborated with Elkin as well.
So with Elkin, he writes all the songs, and I do kind of backing vocals on them. So I've got my vocals are on If Only It Was All Right Now, which is just an awesome song. So it was really, really cool being part of that. And I'm also in his live band. We've actually got a gig on Sunday in Cheshire, in a place called Middlewich. So I'm really excited for that, and just to play in front of people again as well.
I was going to ask you about that. How's it been? How have you found lockdown? Have you kind of been more creative, or is it like been really tough? And have you managed to like do any online gigs during that time?
I think it's definitely been up and down. When I think we first went into the first OG lockdown in March, like last year, I saw a lot of things online about like, wow, we've got all this time to just like sit back and create. And I just didn't feel like I wanted to do that. And I know that like lockdown was different for every single person. So like I was very lucky in that, like, because I'm a uni student, I was able to just go back to my parents' house and just kind of stay there for a while before then. And then also I was able to work through a lot of it, because I have a work from home job. So I was really, really lucky.
That's cool.
That I was able to do that. So yeah, I think despite all that, despite having the opportunity to be creative for the first month or so, it just wasn't happening for me. I think,
and you can't force it, can you? It's like you've got this time, but you've got to like do whatever you feel is right.
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely can't force it. I've tried that many times. But actually, after pretty much as soon as I stepped back and was like, it's fine if you're not creating right now. That was when I suddenly felt more creative. So I just kind of stepped back and I was like, well, do you know what? I'll read a bunch of books. I'll watch a bunch of movies. I'll go on lots of walks with my dog, and I'll spend time with my family. And then once I got into that kind of more peaceful headspace, that was when like things started to flow, and I was like, I have things I want to write about again. And that was really nice. And actually, so pretty much all of the songs I play that I'm going to be playing live I think were written during lockdown. I think pretty much all of them. So I definitely, I mean, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because in a way, you know, I'm thankful that I had that time to write those songs, but I wouldn't go so far as saying that lockdown was amazing for my creativity, but like I think I did use that time to kind of reevaluate what I wanted to do as an artist and where I wanted to go. So yeah, that was nice.
Seatbelt on, strapped in, waiting for the ground to cave in, with your tired eyes and my bleeding hands. We fall into each other's arms with crosses on our backs. The road blurs out of me like a painting when it's raining. Such a long, long drive, it hurts to be alive, but I feel better than I used to. I feel better now, I feel better, but are we there yet? Are we there yet? I feel better now, I feel better, but are we there yet? This car's a train wreck. Sometimes I wish I'd let it ruin me, just fall into the dark and sink into it completely. Empty parking space, but in a different place. I still feel better than I used to. I feel better now, I feel better, but are we there yet? Are we there yet? I feel better now, I feel better, but are we there yet? This car's a train wreck. This car's a train wreck.
The Alpha Sessions.
And so you've got some gigs coming up then. How do you feel about being back on stage?
So nervous, to be honest with you. I think everything's changed so much because I was gigging quite a lot before lockdown, but just as a solo artist, and now I'm like band, so I've got a live band. We're doing our first support slot this Sunday, actually. No, this Monday. This Monday. Supporting Restless Youth, who are just this amazing like kind of jazz funk band. I don't know if that's the label that they would call themselves, just saying words, but they're really amazing. I'm really excited for it. And so that'll be the first time ever playing with my band live. So I think it will be really interesting. I mean, I think the practices have been going well, so I think it's all looking good. It's just, but it's nice. It's just a completely new experience for me, and it's really great, like doing it as part of a team as well, because I've been so used to kind of doing it on my own. It's so nice to have like people to share the stage with. And then I have another support slot on the 2nd of June, supporting Mookie and the Bab, and that's just a duo set with me and my keys player. So I'm super excited for that as well.
Excellent. And so I wanted to ask you, you're based in Leeds. What is the music scene like in Leeds? I mean, obviously like pre-COVID, but
it's awesome. It's really great. I mean, I'm lucky because I came from York, like that's where I've lived my whole life until I moved to Leeds. And they're kind of, the music scenes are kind of overlapping a bit because they're so close to each other. So a lot of the time I was kind of like doing gigs in like Leeds and York and going back and forth. But I absolutely love it. Like everybody is so nice and so welcoming. And especially you know, when I first started gigging, kind of mainly in York, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and like there were so many nice people that like took me under their wing and supported me and helped me, and yeah, it's just a really like nice, welcoming feel in Leeds. I feel, yeah, and just so much good music as well. I mean, I think pre-COVID I was going to like maybe like 2 or 3 gigs a week. Like I'd spend most of my time going to see music, and it was always so good. So I'm so lucky to be surrounded by just good music all the time.
And have you toured in like other cities or like played gigs in other cities of the country?
I've done some across Yorkshire. I've done some in Halifax, which has been really, really nice. Because and I think I don't think I've ever done my own artist project in Huddersfield, but I did some backing vocals for a band called £2, who are Huddersfield based. So I did a couple of gigs with them. And that was really, really cool. I haven't actually, this gig that I'm doing with Elkin on Sunday will be the first time I've ventured out of Yorkshire to do a music thing. So my first like Cheshire gig. So I'm really excited for that. I think in the future I'd love to do some gigs in Manchester as well, because I love the music scene there. It's just, there's so much going on. So yeah, I'm hoping in the future to kind of branch out more.
And I wanted to ask you, no pressure, but given that your EP was like a little while ago, are you kind of working on new material like to have another EP release, or what are your thoughts about kind of the songs that you're going to put out this year?
So I've got like a few songs in the making. I think I thought about putting them together as an EP, but I also thought that I decided to do singles for now for a few reasons. I think because I'm just getting my project off the ground, I think it's maybe good to release singles to start with, but also the songs are very different, and I kind of want when I release an EP, I want the songs to be kind of like together conceptually,
to flow
with each other. Yeah, exactly. So I think I want to just kind of have a play around a bit more first, and just kind of experiment, and just kind of see where it takes me. I mean, at the moment, my songs are like quite varied in musical style, so like I'm still kind of experimenting. I probably won't ever stop experimenting though, to be honest with you, because I really like playing around with different sounds. And I think so I have a few releases planned that I'm very excited about.
So watch this space.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you want to let everyone know where they can find you on the socials, where to stream your music?
Yeah, sure. So on Instagram it's at Marnie Glum _ and then it's Marnie Glum on Facebook. I haven't branched out into Twitter yet, but it's coming.
Okay.
I will set one up eventually. And that's about it for now. And also obviously on Spotify and all the streaming platforms as well.
Yeah, great.
Oh, and TikTok.
Okay, perfect. So everyone can like download Celebration Florida now and support you. So
yes, please do.
Excellent. Oh well, good luck for the gigs this weekend and all that, the upcoming gigs. I'm really excited to watch out for new releases as well.
Oh, thank you so much. They'll be like live streamed as well, so I think the footage will be going out on my socials as well.
Ghosts keep messing with the lights. Still pretty sure it's the same place, and I'll meet with the same fate as all the other kids our age. Going grey at 17. Someone tell me what that means. I still feel like a child, safer to crawl back home than stumble into the wild. Wasn't born to be this tired. Take my limbs and rearrange them to be strong enough to stand up on my own without someone holding me. Since small, I've become someone I don't really know. Since I was small, I've become someone I don't really know. Life was in Polaroid shape when I was small, and CD cases snaked across the wall I turn to when I feel alone. Before I know it, I'm on the train home. Wasn't born to be this tired. Take my time and rewind it for me. Then maybe I could find a place to reach a state of recovery. Since I was small, I've become someone I don't really know. Since I was small, I've become someone I don't really know.